Some days I know it can feel like your emotions are tidal waves. You feel like you're too much. Maybe you're broken as an INFP and things are just not getting better. And unfortunately, most of us just take that on and we continue to try to swim in this emotional tidal wave and we just get pulled under. And that's not what I want for you. In this video, I'm going to tell you some of the tips, tricks, strategies, that's difficult to say, that I've used for myself as well as that I've given to coaching clients. And I've coached over 100 INFPs along the way. First, it's important to know that your emotional depth is not a flaw. It's a feature. It's not a bug. It's part of who you are. And if you hate that aspect about yourself, then things are likely not going to get better. The long-term hack is to learn to appreciate yourself. And this can happen quickly, or it can happen slowly. But when you really understand your personality type and understand how you are wired, then it becomes a lot easier to appreciate your strengths and also appreciate your struggles. And to know that your strengths are other people's struggles, and your struggles, as you probably already know, are other people's strengths. But other people go through stuff that you naturally are like, why is that even an issue? Why is that a problem? Know that it's something that you have spent a lot of time on. You've gained mastery over at way more than other people. And so appreciate that. And I'm going to just pull a couple cards. This is a card set that I made. I'll just pull a couple and bring them in through this conversation. So the first one here is just Command Tide, and it's got this druid character standing on a cliff, and there's tides. So very fitting, I happen to be here. So really, when we learn to understand our emotions and why we feel certain ways about certain things, likely because of how our values are attached to those, then we can choose what we want to do with it. And we can accept that you have the ability, you have the power to focus it in a certain direction. If you are angry about something, well, maybe that is time to stand up for yourself, assert it. Maybe it is something that's really important. If you're sad, well, likely it's probably because something about you isn't being honored. And maybe it's part of you saying, I want you to feel more alive and creative and energetic and go do things that are outside your comfort zone in order for you to experience life. Well, once you have that awareness and that appreciation for your emotions, then you can do something with it. If you're not aware of it, then it controls you. Once you become aware of it, then you can command the tide of your emotions. Got another one. And it's important to know that your emotions are not the enemy. You're not weak because you feel strongly about something. If I didn't have this strong emotional depth or attachment to certain things, this feeling deeply about people struggling in Rwanda because I watched a video on it, I would not be me as much. And I wouldn't like that. I've learned to appreciate myself and love myself because of understanding my personality type more. So use emotions as pointers, as signs, and not like a critical voice or something that's a problem. This card says whisper mystery. And I think a lot of emotions that come up are something that we don't really know why it's important until we give it that time and give it that attention to sift through. And why is this really important to me? Why am I upset about what she said? Is it because it's a slight on, it feels like a slight on me as a person and my identity, and I'm a bad person because of that? If it is, then, there are different things that you can do about it. You can use it again to say, okay, I'm going to talk to this person about it. Or you can say, actually, I did mess up. I should apologize and learn from it. Or I will apologize and learn from it. And when you treat your emotions as flaws and the thing that is wrong with you, you miss what they're trying to say. And likely they still sizzle underneath. If you give the emotion the time to be processed, you focus on it, give it that attention, then it dissipates. But if you feel it and you try to brush it off and you keep thinking about it again and again, you're just stoking the flame and it's just going to continue. It's probably not what you want. In mystery, there's always something more to learn about yourself. And strong emotions help point you in those directions, I believe. And you can always journal, which I constantly recommend. You can do parts work. I got a chair over here, and I could sit in that chair and be this other part of myself, the part that's frustrated at ineptitude. And I could sit and talk from that perspective, come back over to this perspective and give my opinion, stand up, go over here, sit on the couch maybe, and look at both of these interactions and play with your emotions, play with your way of perceiving the world. And that is a superpower for INFPs. That's a skill that we have that we're going to do anyway. So you might as well lean into it and find a way of loving to do it and gaining true benefit from it intentionally. And if you think about it as parts work, as I just did, your parts always want to do something that is beneficial for you. Sometimes they don't know how to do it, right? They think if they keep you sad and locked up in your room, well, then you're not going to make a social mistake that could injure you, that could cause problems for you and your family and the rest of your life. And so a lot of times it's a matter of re-educating that part and saying, okay, thank you, that was helpful for my younger years, and now I'm more capable, I'm wiser now, and I'm going to take different actions. So get on board and let's make it happen. It might sound strange, it might sound silly as you're having these conversations, but you are activating actual neurological pathways. It is a hardwired function of your brain. It's not just woo-woo, you know. And even if it is woo-woo, it works, but it's not woo-woo, and it still works. And one more thing that is unrelated to this card, but I'll bring it in, is something that I was talking to a coaching client yesterday about. So this is Contrast Method. It's got 2 different books, different pages, different colors. We were talking about how the struggle is just part of the hero's journey. So within the hero's journey, you're in the comfort zone, and then there's a need, something strange, something's off, get that whisper to get outside of your comfort zone, call to adventure, and then you cross the threshold and go into the unknown. And when you're in the unknown, you're gaining skills, you're struggling, you're failing a bunch, you're meeting allies, you're meeting new enemies. In this time, you are right before your confrontation with the biggest goal, right? The thing that's going to make all the difference and help you grow as a person. So if you think of your struggles as just a sign that you're actually skilling up so that you can complete your goal. Maybe you're still learning you haven't learned the thing that you need in order to pass through that threshold and get to the other side. Or there's a person that you haven't met yet that is going to give you the skill set that you need in order to succeed. If you think about it like that, then one, it activates your extroverted intuition, and you start connecting the patterns and thinking of, well, how could I do this? What are the possibilities? What resources do I need? Which is way better than, this sucks and I'm never going to improve. In Contrast Method, maybe it's just that your approach is not the right one for that situation. And so if you are in this trials and tribulations section of the hero's journey, well, maybe you're just learning that the approach that you were doing was not the best fit for your goal. I always say you can't do math with your feelings. It just doesn't quite work. You can't play baseball as well with introverted intuition of scrying into the future or getting a meta perspective on things, wondering why things are this way. Likely, you'd want to be on the adventurer, extroverted sensing, as opposed to the mystic, right? You'd want to be present in the moment, in your senses, right? It doesn't mean that one is bad and the other's good. It's just sometimes they don't fit for the situation. And so maybe it's just a matter of learning the method that is contrasting your current approach and becoming more comfortable with it. Adding that into your skill set, your tool belt, Batman. And if you want to know more about your INFP personality type, you can go to geekpsychology.com/INFP-5day, the number 5 day, and there's a link below, and you can learn more about who you are as a person because of your personality type and gain a bunch of practical skill sets and things that you can do in order to learn to love your personality type and bring your gifts to the world.